Hello and welcome to another edition of Steve's Backyard Bonsai. You're looking at my new favorite landscape, and I hope you're looking at it from this angle because that's my favorite. I don't know if it'll stay there. But a lot has changed since you saw it last. The trees are fully leafed out, even this little guy. So I've got to get in and do some selective pruning. I also want to take a look at my little planters here and try and understand what's happening. My intent here is that those flowers, which I actually chose at the end to stay, there were some I pulled out, I want them to seed in these planters. This, as you remember, is my proposed root over rock, or purported root over rock. At some point this summer I will take this wire off. I think I've reliably set this tree, and I'll give you a close-up 360 of this. A few people have bit the dust. I still have them. They're corpses in the greenhouse, and at some point, hopefully soon, I'm trying out a slightly larger scale human that's going to make the benches look out of scale, unfortunately. But maybe I could find better benches at this particular scale. What you might be able to see is, except at the edges where it's been getting a lot of sun, it's greening up nicely here. There are some weeds growing, but I'm going to try and control all that today. This one particularly has, it has new flowers, I think, on this secondary plant that I had put in here, which looks really good when it's coming out of the ground. So I want it to seed here too. And then these are those beautiful flower plants that have already gone to seed, and I'm just going to have to trust that they planted themselves. I do see a lot of those pods. God knows how small the seeds are. All right, let's get started on the pruning after this controlled 360. I love the way the sun goes through the leaves. And dapples the walkway. Just perfect. Just perfect. It's about noon, maybe a little before. Okay. All right, I hope this is a good angle for viewing. The sun is bright, but I want to be able to show you all sides of all trees. And the first thing I want to do is choose the apex height of these trees. This is going to be a competing apex branch to this one. I think I want to knock back the vigor on this and just let this one grow. Let's see what happens. Recently saw Candace's video, and she said if it has started to change color, it's ready to be pruned back. She also said, and this makes a lot of sense, these first buds are unreliable. So I'm going to get up to here because I see a reliable bud there. But could I go down one more? I could. Leaving a bit of a stub. All right, sideways on this tree. Okay, if that's the apex, this branch is a little too long here. I'm going to cut it back to there. Hopefully a branch continues in this direction. This one similarly. to there, leaving a little bit of a stub for dieback. And we've got some interference happening here. This tree needs to grow in this direction, so I'm going to prune off some of this. And also right here. I'm going to let this extend. I'm going to let this extend. This is growing a little funny in this direction. Cutting to a leaf, and hopefully we'll get something growing in this direction. Okay, so that's it for this outside tree. Next tree up would be this one, which kind of wants to be one of my tallest trees, competing with the one right across the corridor. I have a dead branch down here. No, it's not a dead branch, sorry. But it's a branch down low that I do not want. So off it comes. Working on this separation here, I think both of these trees should contribute to that. So there we go. Another branch that is contributing to the non-separation is this one. And we got another tree to worry about interference for. I did say I wanted to maintain kind of a tunnel effect going on here, which I'm going to try and foster as much as possible. So how do I do that? Okay, I'm going to want to keep the downward and outward facing branches here. So I'm going to take this woody top off. See. I like this. I'm going to let it extend. This is my tallest tree, and if this is where my apex wants to begin, everything else gets more compact closer in. Looking at the same tree now from this side, we've got some very stunted growth on this tree because of some very wild growth on this one. So let's see if we can't get that under control. I got this little branch. I hope you can see this. I've got this little branch. I like that it comes out, but I'm going to trim it to a round facing bud. I don't know how else to describe that. Kind of goes back in, but I could extend it out this way a bit. And I like this branch, which kind of grows down and out. Nice direction for that. I'm going to let that grow. Do I want this low branch? You're noticing that I switched to another tree. I did. Sorry, I've got to open this up. here's a situation where I want to go to a branch that might grow in this direction. Let's see. Do I still have you? I do. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. All right. Yeah, both of these trees are equal participants. I want this one to grow out further in this direction. So I'm going to go back even further on it. There is a leaf facing down this way, or a whole branch facing down this way, that I want to have develop. This apex is getting really crowded. Let's see. I'm going to work down on this, from up to down on this. Going back to the other tree whenever the opportunity presents itself. These trees are growing together, and trees generally can make their own decisions when it comes to growing together. Sometimes they don't make the right decision, and that's what we were put on this earth to do for them. All right. I don't want to rush to that side. Ready to trim there. This branch has some pretty strong old growth in that direction. And take out some of it. And do what with the rest? Let's see. Well, could leave that one and take off this. All right, that opened it up significantly. All right, let's get back to the apex on this tree. All right, I'm gonna shorten this one. Which gives a little bit of a tunnel effect right there. And a lot of these cuts I'm making for ramification. Really fine twigging is what I'm going for here. All right, this one doesn't fit the bill, does it? Sweeping up like that. Right here. It's gone. I still have my canopy. My sisters are texting me about my mom, who's in a facility very near to me. And I get these texts quite often. I just looked. It's nothing serious. Just going to ignore it for the moment. Okay. This and this cannot be the same height. I want this shorter. So where can I cut shorter? I've got a kind of an upward facing potential leader right here. I'm being drastic here, but that's kind of my only outward facing leader there. This is going to give a lot of health and vigor to this tree. What do I want to go on here? Okay, there's a little branchette coming from here. If I take this away, that opens up too much. So I'm going to take this down as far as it can go. Take this down to the smaller leaves. This is too far, so I've got a little branch starting down here that can fill that gap. I'm trusting that this tree will grow for me now. Like that song from Little Shop of Horrors. Grow for me. I do want these trees to grow, but I don't want them to grow into monsters. So I'm doing my part right now to shape them to be sister trees rather than competing trees. This I don't know what to do with. If I take this little piece off and let this one grow, if I take this off and let this little piece grow, is that removing a lot from this? I think I have to do it. Just gonna have to keep that tree well watered and healthy and growing and twigging. In order to do that, I'm going to take the tip off of this. I don't really want to take the tip off of these and really sap vigor from this tree. All right, so keeping up in the order I was headed, these two are running interference, and there's always two bullies in this interference game. All right. This tree, I said, should compete in height with this one, because when looked at from this direction, maybe this one goes down a little bit further on the outside. But let's get it to a good height, and for good reasons. Here we have a nice flowing branch going in this direction. Very nice. Can net out or create a net effect in the canopy. So I'm going to take the top piece of that off. Maybe just a bit for dieback. Here's an old stub. Okay. Oh, I just want to come back to a leaf that's facing in this direction. Here too. I would love for this to start twigging. I'm going to go back to a bud that I see. If I can't see the bud, it must be one of those unreliable ones. Thanks for Bonsai Science. They have provided, that is Candace and Emily have provided quite a knowledge base for me. So thank you both. I want this to grow and that to grow. Okay. I don't want this to be my tallest tree. I want this one to be my tallest. So I've got to do some severe pruning on this tree. So, apex. And that's taking out a lot of woody growth too. Okay, now we've got competition here, which we want to quell. So I cut it to a leaf that faces this way, hopefully getting a branch going more in this direction. Let's see, do I need this? What happens if I don't have it? Not much. These are getting out of the profile a bit, but that can be easily rectified. One of the things I like most about bonsai these days, and I've mentioned this before, is bare trees. So if I can achieve that bare tree look, that beautiful bare tree look in fall and winter. Then I think I've done well. Okay, I got to alleviate some interference right here. Easily done that way. And who's the other culprit? It's this guy. The effects of the sun on this nascent moss is pretty incredible. It's brown already. You can still see some green. All right. Am I done? I don't think so. Okay. I like this one reaching up there, but I don't want it to be dominant. So I'm going to stunt it a bit. I like that. It's not in anyone's way, but I got to make sure it can get some sun. Okay, this branch has potential further back to be a nice branch. That's the cut right there. And it had this branch coming off it and a leaf or two leaves further down. So not a great cut for the composition at the moment, but not a bad cut either. Do I want this coming over? I do. It's the only one coming over. So take off this. There's a thicker piece behind it, but this looks like a reliable branch, so it's coming off. It's part of my bower, but this is not. That's better. I do want this to divide. I want it to extend, but I want it to divide. And for those who wonder what I'm talking about, when you cut off a branch, sometimes if you're lucky, you get two branches going in opposite directions. And that's what gives you the fine twigging. Okay, so my question is, these are the seeds. I'm going to zoom in on these. And like I said, there are 2 types in there. Do you see the seeds? They're still firmly on this stem. So maybe there is a season for them to fall down, and this isn't it. Now I could fold them down. I could just trim and leave the debris. I think I'm going to do that. All right, I got a pair of tweezers to help me out here. Pull out these weeds that look like the start of Irish moss. Very tenacious stuff. And I got a little brush to help me keep any seeds in the planters where they belong. Hopefully they'll wash into here too. All right, that's one. I'll do the rest of these without you having to see it. So here's a little shot of the carnage. And right beyond that is a template that I'm doing for my next project, which is a landscape. Not like this one. And are you looking at my favorite view? No, my favorite view is a little higher. A little higher. As if you're in a drone. Dave, I watched your video this morning. Dave from Dave's Bonsai. Great channel. And he can get a drone shot. So I keep imagining getting a drone shot of this. And this would work. As long as I get the relative scale right. And I don't think I have it with this. Okay, this is the last view of Central Park, all pruned up. And once again, thank you for keeping me company in my backyard.